The purpose of this video is to help you to open and view KMZ files downloaded from the Marine Scotland Interactive web pages hosted on the Scottish Government website. In order to view the KMZ files, you will need to download Google Earth. Now, I've already downloaded Google Earth version 6 and the KMZ files from the Marine Scotland Interactive websites onto my hard drive into a folder called MSI Demonstration. There's a selection of the KMZ files, and here is the folder that I've created to store the files. Okay, so this is Google Earth. I've already opened this now. You can navigate around Google Earth using a touchpad mouse and the associated navigation tools that come with Google Earth. These can be opened by going to View, Show Navigation, and click on Automatically if they don't come on when the program opens onto your PC. They're in the right-hand side of the page, and they allow you to zoom in and zoom out, change the elevation, and change the angle at which you look at the globe as well. I'm using a 3-button mouse, a standard 3-button mouse with a left and right click and a track wheel in the middle that does exactly the same things as the navigation tools. It's just a little bit easier to work with, I think, rather than using a touchpad. Okay, in order to open the downloaded files, go to File, Open, and navigate to where you stored the files. The next thing to do is to left-click on the top file, and then depress Shift and left-click on the bottom file. When you go to Open Now, each of those files will be opened simultaneously into the Temporary Places folder. What I'm going to do first of all is to switch off each and shrink to the top layer each one of these individual layers. Okay, you can now group these layers according to similar groups to make the information easier to find. So what I'm going to do is to left click onto the master MSI Renewables TV layer here and drag it. If I pull it to one side, you can see there's now a horizontal black line that is between the layers and the biotope layer. And I'm going to undo the left click button. And I'm going to do the same now with the other TV layer on the top here. Left click and drag it down. There's the horizontal black line. It's between now the TV layer and the biotope layer. And let go. And it's brought the two together. I'm also just going to widen this sidebar here by putting the cursor over the edge of the map and dragging it by holding the left key down. Okay, I'm coming off it. The next thing that I want to do is to change the name of some of these layers. That's easy enough to do. You can right click on this particular layer, go to Rename, and I'm going to call it Seabed Layer. And the other layer that I'm going to change is this bottom layer here. Rename that, and I'm going to call it Pentland Firth Bathy 2009. Okay. I also know that the icon used for the photo layer is not the one that I want to use. It's a default layer, so I can change that by right-clicking on it, go to Properties. There's the black dot that is the default icon. I'm going to left-click on that, come down to the camera icon, because at the end of the day, this particular layer shows the location of where photographs have been collected. And I'm going to shrink the size of it slightly to 1.0 and click OK. And OK again. I'm now going to view the seabed layer by ticking on the box. This layer shows all the TV video tows of the seabed collected by Marine Scotland Science in support of the renewables industry in Scottish waters. The TV tows are grouped according to their geographical area. So if I expand this layer here, and again, you can see these are where we've collected TV tows from in terms of their geographical distribution. Now I'm going to, let's go down to South Ronaldsay. Going to expand that layer, and I'm going to double click on the video icon, and Google Earth will now fly over to that TV tow. Okay, there it is. I'm now going to switch on the TV tow track and TV tow photograph layers, and I'm going to drag this up into the middle of the page. The yellow line represents the track over the seabed, and the camera icon shows where photographs of the seabed were recorded. Next, I'll open the biotope layer. I'll shrink that layer first. It takes a couple of seconds to open up this layer. Again, expand the layer. I'm going to navigate back to South Rollsay. TV tow 23. Okay, the next thing to do is to hover the icon over the hover the cursor over the two icons, the bubble icon and the video icon, and left click. See, they split into two separate icons now, and this time I'm going to left click again on the video icon. This opens up a bubble box. In the top half of the bubble box is a slideshow of all the photographs that were collected along that TV tow. The slides are of the seabed. The bottom half of the bubble box shows a 3-minute video clip of the video footage from the seabed for this location. It also shows the links that we have back to our YouTube and Picasa websites that host our video footage and digital stills respectively, and also a link to our Marine Scotland science site. I'm going to close that now. Hover the cursor over the two again, left click, and left click again on the balloon this time. This is the biotope layer. Again, in the top half we have the slideshow that was the same as the slideshow in the previous bubble box, but beneath that we have text describing the substrate, the biota, and the biotope as identified based on the video footage and the digital stills collected from this site. There is also a link to the full report where this information has come from. More information about the biotope classification scheme used by JNCC, and again the link back to the Marine Scotland science site. Right, I'm going to close that one. Shrink this down again. The last layer that I'm going to open is the bathymetric layer for the Pentland Firth collected in 2009. And I'm just going to zoom out a bit so you can see the full extent of the layer. Okay. And what you can do with this is expand the bathymetric layer, expand the sublayer here, and insert a legend bar. And I'm going to insert mine in the upper left of the screen. And what it shows you is the depths associated with the different colors used in creating the bathymetric map. So if we zoom in a bit closer, reds are typically between 10 and 30 meters in depth. Yellows generally sort of 40 up to 70 meters, and then the blues will probably start around about 80 meters and go deeper down to about 120 meters in some of the deeper areas, particularly towards the south of Ronaldsay. Okay, all that's left to do now is to make sure that we save all these changes and the files that you introduced, not in your temporary places, but in your My Places folder. And to do this, you need to right-click on the temporary places and go to Save to My Places. And you notice that all the files have now moved from the temporary places folder into the My Places folder. This ensures now the next time that you open Google Earth, each of these layers will be added automatically to Google Earth when it opens, as well as the changes that you've previously made. And that ends the introduction to opening and viewing KMZ